we are one slip up away from us being very intimately involved.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
But she's like, and you gotta get down. And I was like, what?
I'm like, how, Sway? I'm a baby. Like, what did I do wrong? I was like, yes, Daddy. I'll never embarrass you.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Welcome to another episode of Accidentally Informed.
Where we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but you just might.
Accidentally, of course.
Yeah, accidentally.
Because we're not preachy here. I'm Claudia Jordan.
I'm Erica Cobb.
You look cute. I like your outfit.
Thank you. I was just wondering if you can tell that it's a dress, because now it just looks like I'm chilling in a hoodie or a
Oh, you have the sheer dress right here. Yeah, it's super cute.
Thank you. You look cute.
Well, I realize how much weight I gained. You know, you put on something, you're like, oh, I remember what this looked like on me 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And it's like, one wrong move, and this is an exam. Like, seriously.
Not an exam.
I needed the stirrups because it is like we are one slip up away from us being very intimately involved.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, it's right there. It is right there, Erica.
Oh my Lanta. Okay, I can't. That's something that you say, but no one can look. You're like,
You want to look,
just
don't you?
keeping eye contact. Like,
You want to look?
No, I do not want
don't
to. I have one too. I don't need to see.
All right, y'all, let's just dive right into it. Can a marriage work if you never live together? That is the question, because Shirley Ralph, who we love.
That's our queen.
She is amazing. I love her. She's never lived with her husband. And they've been married for almost 20 years. Now they fly to see each other every 2 weeks. He's in Pennsylvania. She's in California. Let's take a look.
He has his own life. I have my own life. He has his own real career. I have my own real career. We also live in separate places. When I go to see him, love to see him. When it's time to leave, bye-bye, see you soon.
And it's been successful for them. What do you think?
Yeah. So, actually, I have seen this work because my parents did it.
Really?
Yes.
For how long?
So my parents did it for 20 years, actually. Yeah. So when I was in junior high, my dad got laid off and he decided to go back to school for mortuary science. And the place that he got his internship, he thought that there was a great prospect for him to open up his own funeral home, but it was in 2.5 hours away. So in Indiana, we lived in Illinois, right outside of Chicago. So he started doing the internship, and eventually he opened up his business in that same community. And it went from him going back and forth every day to going back and forth for a week or for the week and then staying on the weekends. And that's how my parents lived for 20 years. And it wasn't until 7 years ago that they bought a house in Indiana together.
I wonder if it's tough to transition from, you have your space and it works for you, and then now all of a sudden you're always in each other's faces.
Yes, it is tough.
Kind of like I would think. Yeah. I like you see these professional athletes, right? And when they're on the road, they have their issues, but like it's different from when you have to spend 24/7 with that person. I would think, I think this is a great way to keep the romance alive.
Sure, especially in this situation, because they've been together for 20 years. They met when she was 48. Or like at least in her late 40s, something like that. And she already had 2 children from previous marriage. They don't share children, and they were very much focused on she's child rearing, but she also has her career, and then he has his career. And that makes a lot of sense. I think if you were in a situation like my husband and I dated long distance for a year and some change before we got married. And immediately when I moved back to Denver, we got married like the next week legally. But that's what it took for me to leave my job. Because I was like, I am not quitting my job to move back on a hope and a prayer or something,
I think you're right.
Yeah. So, but then I wasn't going to leave my job, even though we were married. I was going to go back to Sacramento, which is where I was living, and continue to work. And my husband was like, or my fiance at the time was like, I really don't want to have a long distance marriage. But that was completely on the table for me because I've seen it, and it kept a lot of, the passion and the, mystery alive.
I like it. Back in the day when I would focus on marriage a lot, I would think about like same city, married. I would be okay with 2 different houses, or just, living near each other but not up under each other all the time. Because I see a lot of times you're so excited about the new relationship. It's so romantic, it's so fun. But no matter what you get, like a possession, a person, you always end up getting, when it becomes too familiar, you kind of, the passion is not there.
You take it for granted.
You do. And I think that's a great way of still continuing to date each other. People say, oh, you can still date once you're married. I think it's a lot harder when you wake up with that person and you're just always around them, I think. And I hate to ruin like such magical sparks and that feeling with, now I'm sick of you. I think that's sad.
I think, I really do believe it's how you look at it and what the circumstances are. I feel like my husband and I have a really great balance because, one, there was a long span of time that he was traveling regularly, and my schedule was where I wasn't necessarily in the home all the time. So even now, it's like, I might have to travel maybe 1 or 2 times a month, but he will always have to travel at least 3 times a month.
That helps.
So there's like a lot of coming and going. If we had children, we would both amend our schedules for that. But that being said, we're still trying to grow our family. So there will hopefully come a day where we have to navigate, okay, you can't travel as much, because I've already told him, like, once we have kids, like, you cannot just be gone. Okay. This works for us, but this don't work for us if there's like kids running around.
You need help.
So I think if you can find a way to almost like not split your time, but be very intentional about how much time you're spending in the home together, that might help.
Yeah, and still, I think that's why it's so important to not just change up your whole life for someone. Like, you have to still have your friends, have your nights out with your girls, maybe an occasional girls trip here and there, not overdoing it. But, you got to remember the reason why you fell in love with someone. They had things going on in their life. It wasn't just sitting up under you 24/7.
Yeah.
And have things going on. Because I said before in a relationship, I do not want to ever be your everything. Like, you have to have something else going on. I cannot be your only source of happiness. I cannot. Like, that's a lot to put on someone. And some days I'm not going to be able to deliver.
Right.
And plus I want you to be excited. Like, I kind of compare it to like having a dog, or a cat, really. When I leave for like a few days, my cat's all over me and so happy to see me. But when I'm around all the time, it's like, meh, meh. You know what I mean? I just want that excitement. Maybe that's immature, but I am what I am.
Well, it's work. I mean, when people say that marriage is work, I don't think that that's a negative thing. It's constantly thinking about, are we moving together or are we moving apart? Are we in a situation where we're setting ourselves up for success, or is this a road to failure? There's a lot of thought that goes behind a lot of things. And if you're some people are very codependent and that's what they love to do. And if you are a codependent person, you found yourself a codependent partner, God bless. I am not a codependent person. I get smothered very easily. My husband and I have an amazing relationship because we aren't all up under each other. But when we need that time together, we both need that time together, and we're intentional about it.
Exactly. Everything in moderation, I say. All right, we have our next segment. It's accidentally ludicrous time.
What you gonna do? Act a fool!
All right, y'all, in ludicrous news, how many meals are allowed on a first date? What would you say?
Well, how many people are on the date?
Just 2 people, you and someone else.
Well, I feel like if it's 2 people, then 2 meals. But also, I think I'm also encompassing meals as like, you can have an appetizer, maybe a soup, a salad, maybe a dessert.
Right, that's normal,
but a full meal, yeah.
That's normal. But what's not normal is this young lady. A woman is going viral for ordering multiple meals on a first date. Let's take a look.
I got 3 children, you know that.
You got 3 children?
Yeah, so I'm gonna order all this something.
How those sandwiches to go? Chicken tenders to go.
Yeah, that's all I have.
That's a lot to go. You might as well go. That's too much. I can't. And this is our first date. Ain't trying to be funny. This is our first date. I'm not taking care of your children. Am I crazy or she crazy? I mean, I'm just trying to. Am I crazy or she crazy?
She's not trying to get into
It's our first date. Do I supposed to take care of your children?
I'm not gonna
Look,
get him.
I don't care, man. Where you from? Look, I'm trying.
That is so ghetto. That is so ghetto. It is so ghetto. First date, and you're just there trying to feed your entire family. This man has no just duty, responsibility for your children. And that would be such a turnoff to a man.
Well, let me ask, I don't know if you have any background or answers to these questions for the follow-up, but were they splitting the bill? Was he paying the entire bill?
I believe he was paying the entire bill, and that's why he's like, I'm not paying for all your kids.
Okay.
He said that because I saw another video the other day where this woman was just on a first date, and the boyfriend, I'm sorry, the man went to the bathroom, and while he was gone, she's all up in his plate eating his crab legs and food, and she's pouring his soda into her cup, and he's like, what's going on? She's like, I'm hungry. You knew what it was. I'm really just here for the food. I do not like associating with women or men that just waste people's time, lead them on to get food out of them. Like you're using someone, and they really have the intentions of getting to know you, and you're over here thinking about food. That is such a low class behavior. And if you're in survival mode like that, just like we tell men, if you're not doing well enough in life to date right now, you should focus on your priorities and your career. Women too, stop being bum bitches. I think this is whack ass behavior to like put that on someone. Now, if the man knows you have children and offers and says, hey, feel free to order something to bring home, that's one thing. But you're taking advantage, and I think it's wrong. And it also ruins the dating pool for those of us that are out there that legitimately want to get to know someone.
Yeah, because everyone's coming with these scars that whether they were earned, a lot of them weren't, and now you're taking them into other experiences because you're on guard. There are so many circumstances where this would be appropriate and consensual. I'm just thinking back to college where I would get asked out by a guy and I wasn't really feeling him like that. So I would say like, I don't really think that maybe we don't need to go out, or, I'm not interested. And it'd be like, oh no, just as friends, like, let me just take you out to dinner. Mm-hmm. And I've said like, I'm not interested like that, but I was interested in enjoying, like sometimes I'd be talking to guys for like 30, 45 minutes and we were really having a great conversation, but there just wasn't any romantic interest there. So now it becomes, oh, okay, well, let me take you out to dinner. Now, if we're going to continue the same conversation under the same pretenses that I've had the entire time, I don't mind going to dinner with you. But if you're going to flip the script, so it's like, I just think that people have to be honest about why they're there. If you're there because you need a meal and you need for your kids to be fed, there are going to be people who are going to be like, yeah, I'll go out with you for great conversation and, some fun or whatever, have a meal and I'll buy you a meal for your children. But to do that on unsuspecting people, like I saw a video on Instagram and I don't know why this woman got so much flack, but she was saying that her date Venmo'd her money to pay for the sitter so that she could spend more time out to dinner with him. And to me, I didn't see that being such a big deal, but all the comments were like, oh, well, basically he just bought you. So now you're an escort. It's like, well, no, because she had to pay a sitter in order to come out and spend time with this person. And this person is simply saying, I want to spend time with you. Like, don't worry about it because you're preoccupied with this. I'm going to vend you the money and you can pay for the sitter.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I think and some men complain. Now we have these whole 50% men now. We don't I don't know what's going on, right? But that complain and they don't want to spend money. But out of pocket, like, first of all, for a woman to go on a date with you, there's already a lot of out-of-pocket expenses that were like the hair, the makeup, and all that kind of stuff. Like, most women don't go out just barefaced. Like, they put some money into like their appearances. So there is like, it's not like you're just paying for everything and there's no expense to us.
Right.
There is. But I am against women just going out with a man for food that they don't like. I think that's leading someone on. I think it's misleading. I've never really hung with girls. Well, I don't like that kind of friend that's like, well, I don't like him, but girl, he paying, he treating for this. I think that's kind of giving you bum kind of behavior.
Low vibrational.
It's low vibrational. it is like, it's low vibrational and it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. Now I do understand if you're trying on survival mode, do what you got to do, but no man is responsible to take care of your children on a first date. Now, if he wants to, then let him, but come on.
What really gets me is that it's almost like there's been this bait and switch for women our age, because I remember coming up in a way that I was taught to be independent. I was taught to, provide for myself and all of those things. And that I would be able to, if I wanted to, find a partner in big letters, someone who is going to be equally yoked, or someone who understands the idea of the yin and the yang. And then a lot of my early like dating and stuff, I remember going out to dinner and going to pay. And at this time, like I was working in nightclubs, everybody had cash, so you would go somewhere. My mother always told me never go on a date with a man unless you have enough not only to pay for whatever experience is happening in that restaurant, but also your cab or whatever to get you back home. So I always had cash. And I remember putting cash down at restaurants. And I remember men being like, please don't embarrass me. Like, and sliding it back. Like, that's how I came of age.
Oh,
Was
that's so attractive.
Like, please, like, don't, what are you doing? Like, no. And it was like offensive. And so the idea that now we're in our 40s and 50s and there are men out here like just sitting back, like just waiting for you.
They want you to pay.
To do it is like, it's almost just counterintuitive to my psyche. Like, what happened to the please don't embarrass me? Like, that's weird.
That's out the window. Oh, I remember one time I went to go buy this jacket and this coat in Atlanta. It was like $700. And the drug dealer I talked to at one point in my life, oh, he was so fine. And he might be watching because he did ask me about this recently. He just hit me up. Anyways, I was like about to buy this jacket. It was like $700. And I took my card out. He goes, don't you ever embarrass me like that. And he started counting $700. But when you're a drug dealer, you mostly have 5s and 10s on you.
I don't know where these 5s and 10s are coming from.
It took like 10 to 20 minutes, but watching him count $700 and 5 10s and a couple of 20s was so sexy to me. And the way he said, don't embarrass me like that. I got this. Don't you ever embarrass me like that. I was like, yes, daddy. I'll never embarrass you. Whatever you like. Whatever you like. I'm just saying that was very sexy. And it ended up being a fun time was had by all that night. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You get a lot further when you do stuff like that, Phyllis. Not saying you bought it. I was already dealing with them.
Yeah.
But it was very sexy and masculine. Like, don't pull your money out in front of me.
Yeah. Like, that would.
I like that.
That would completely throw me off. Like, it got to the point where I was like, well, do I put, because I don't know. And then if it was someone who I really didn't want to deal with, I would just be like, no, don't embarrass me.
Well, these men, a lot of men want a soft life now. Now, have you ever had a disastrous like first date story? I want to just tell mine real quick. It won't be long, I promise. I don't even like first dates. I just like that. I kind of like you like me. Okay, we're together. Because I feel like I'm wasting time with these people. So I went on a date with this guy in Los Angeles a long time ago. And we went to like Fridays, okay? At the time, they had this apple crisp that was really good and Cobb salad. I love it. Cheap date. My shit was probably like $30 tops, all of it. And when the bill came, he pulled out a gift card, right? Fine. Maybe his mama gave him a gift card for Christmas or his grandmother. I don't know. But the gift card didn't have that much on it. It was like a $25 gift card. So he only put that towards his half of the bill, and he didn't pay the rest. And I was just like, it was such a turnoff because you've been asking me out for the longest, and you wouldn't even cover like a very small bill at Fridays. So I paid my half, and I never hung with him again. I just thought that was super ghetto.
What?
It was a gift card that someone gave him.
How? But. Okay, so one would assume that if you have a gift card to a certain restaurant chain, that you were the one who initiated where to meet, because now if you are utilizing that gift card because you can't pay anything else, knowing that you asked someone out, like I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around that.
I don't even think his gift card covered all of his. So I probably paid for some of his. Me and his mama paid for his food.
Oh my gosh. No. Then why ask? Or ask someone out in a space that you can afford it.
We could have done something else. Honestly, I'm not like a money, it's not like you don't have to do grand things for me on a first date. You really don't. Honestly, I like more thoughtful things. If money is not your thing, we could have done something else. We could have driven up the coast. We could have, we could have gone for a walk. We could have gone to the park. We could have done stuff like that. Like, I like doing goofy stuff. Like, I'll go feed some ducks some old bread. I like doing shit like that, okay? Like, I'll go do that. I'll drive up the coast and listen to music and talk. I like stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with going to the beach. Like, there's other dates you can do that are free, really, that just are about quality time. But now, instead of doing a quality time date, you did a ghetto date. Now I look at you like you're trying to come up on me. And I just thought it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I wasn't even worth like, an appetizer and, a dessert. Bam.
I went on very early on in a relationship, the long-term relationship I had. So this gentleman was telling me about this particular restaurant, and there was this appetizer that he was like, have you ever tried it? And he's like, it's one of my favorites, blah, 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 whatever. And we're like, we're in our 20s. And it was a really nice restaurant. And we went during the day. So it was probably like right around happy hour time. And we ordered martinis and we had this particular appetizer. And at that point, and this is 20 years ago almost, let's say the bill was $50 for both of us. And when we finished the appetizer, I had the menu. So I looked at it and he goes, oh, did you want to eat here? And I was like, oh, well, no. He goes, because I just wanted you to have this appetizer. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, but if you want to eat here, we can eat here. And I was like, it was clear that he was prepared to pay for this experience.
The appetizer experience.
Right. With the martinis, which was really cute, and I appreciated that effort. And so I was like, immediately like, no, like what we can go or, we can do whatever. But it almost made me respect it more because he was like, I wanted to do something nice for you. Clearly, I'm not in a position to, get you the whole kit and caboodle at this really nice restaurant. At least
sample and have like a little taste.
Yeah, and I respected that because it was honest.
He basically just gave you the tip.
We were young and he was being creative with his resources.
Just give her the tip.
He was being creative with his resources.
Not going to go all in. We're just going to put the tip in.
And I appreciated it.
Did you let him put the tip in?
I appreciated him being creative with his resources.
All right, on that note, where you're listening to Accidentally Informed. Listen, don't forget to like and tell a friend about this podcast. Spread the word and follow us on social media. Tell your friends all about us. Let's get to our next topic, shall we?
All right, yeah.
I still want to know what really happened. Did y'all sleep together after that? Did you give him some ass for an appetizer? I want to know your life before you got married. I know now you would never do that, but back in the day. What was the appetizer?
So we're going to move on.
It wasn't like chicken wings or something like that, because I will be mad at you.
No, it was a nice appetizer.
Like oysters?
It was like a seafood thingy. Yeah. So it wasn't the most crazy thing in the world. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving.
She didn't answer.
Let's keep it moving.
She didn't answer. All right, y'all. 2025 is the year of the grandma. The year of the grandma.
Okay.
Young people are embracing Grandmacore. Grandmacore?
Grandmacore.
Grandmacore? Mm-hmm. Okay. Which is a grandma-like fashion hobbies such as knitting, crocheting, baking, and gardening. It's going viral, and it even has its own hashtag, Grandmacore. So people are embracing that grandma life.
Yeah. We should have seen this coming because it really started during the pandemic. People were getting back to basics. They were discovering their inner Martha Stewart. Inner Martha Stewart. So people started picking up gardening. Baking bread was a big one. So I'm not really surprised by this. Now, one of my former co-hosts is really into cross-stitching. It's like what she does. Shout out Tori. It's what she does. And she's in her early 40s, and that's like her thing. Now, she probably started the Grandmacore trend, to be 100% honest. No tea, no shade. But I think it's great.
Do you have any grandma-like activities that you do? Like, what do you do that's grandma-ish?
I don't really think I have. Yes. What?
She listens to the same 90s songs whenever she bought her rotation.
Okay, listening to 90s songs is not Grandmacore.
It's getting there.
What is getting there? Jeray comes with the shade. I'll try. I don't know. I don't think that's Grandmacore. I do love like a long knitted cardigan type, type things. So maybe that's a little bit grandma. What about you?
Well, I got to preface, I didn't have like the traditional grandma. Like my Italian grandmother over in Italy, we lost her kind of early on, so I don't really know. She was mostly just like, cooked like lots of food, like to feed everybody and take care of everyone. My black grandma, she was like a gambler. She drank coffee brandy. She talked shit. So I guess I'm doing everything my grandmother did.
Yes. I
And
love it.
some of her dating advice, like I can't even repeat some of the stuff she said. It was so, like, it's kind of racist in a way. So I'll tell you off camera what she said about certain demographics.
Oh my gosh.
But some of it's true though.
Yeah, everybody's grandparents. So that's so interesting because I have my father's mother, and she was only 13 years older than my father. So,
damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she, like, it was almost like she was my grandmother, but like
more like an aunt.
Yeah, she was like that. She was just that girl, you know? Like, and then my mother's mother was a lot older, and she was more like, she disciplined all of us, including my other grandma.
Just running the show.
Big Mama was like, okay, so I'm gonna be the matriarch of this entire situation. At one point, they lived next door to each other. Big Mama was just ruling the roost. But when it comes to like my wild side, like my adventurous, whatever, I am definitely my grandma Mary. Like I all the things, like throwing the parties, I became like, Mary, make sure you pour me some of that Johnny Walker Red.
I love when old people drink. I think it's so funny. My grandmother would talk a lot of shit, and apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I brought this guy home, and he was so shy and nervous to meet my family, and I said, my grandma talks a lot. Like she gonna make fun of you. She's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. He's like, okay, I got it. And when she met him, she's like, tells him that she has a tattoo, and would he like to see it? I'm like, Grandma. So she starts to pull her pants down a little bit on the side, like kind of like her hip bone, kind of lower and lower and lower. And she told him to bring his face over, like it's like,
oh my
God, coochie
coochie
height, like his like looking. And she's like, you don't see it? It's a tattoo of a mouse. He's like, no, I don't see it. She goes, oh shit, my pussy must have ate it. Oh yes.
My God.
I'm like, Grandma. So yes, my grandma Lillian, rest in peace. I do take after her, and I like, just inappropriate, but she was the goat of that, and I miss her so much, Grandma Lillian. I love you.
Gosh. Shout out to screw Grandmacore. We're talking grandma hardcore over here, all right?
Yes. All right, so year of the grandma, 2025. All right. Now, new topic. Is turning down alcohol cool to you? Do you drink? Well, never mind. I'm not asking you, do you drink? Because this is actually the first show where she hasn't got me drunk.
I get it from my grandma.
Oh, okay. Grandmacore. A new study found that Gen Zers are refusing to drink alcohol in their latest rebellion against norms. What did you, first of all, rebel against in your 20s? And do you rebel against anything now?
I rebel against anything anyone tries to make me do. I don't know. I think it's an Aquarius trait. Like, everything's going left. We got to go right. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I think getting married in my 20s was an act of rebellion.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you invite your family to the wedding, or was it like a low-key secret?
I did, but it was very much like, this is what I'm doing. I'm an adult, like that was a part of it for sure. But I don't know if I really, I don't know if there was a lot of any other like rebellion.
Purposely rebellion.
Yeah. What about you?
No, I pretty much I was a good kid all through high school and college. I kind of did what I was supposed to. Going to church, really, I wasn't into that. I didn't like that. I grew up Catholic, and I just felt like going to church was just such a depressing thing. Like basically the service, on the positive side, service is always 45 minutes. We don't do the long church thing, right? But it's 45 minutes of beating you up, basically saying you weren't shit when you were born in sin, you got to drink the blood of Jesus and eat the bread, the body of Christ, and then maybe you'll get a little redemption, but just know that you came into this world with all the sin. I'm like, how, Sway? I'm a baby. Like, what did I do wrong? Why am I making me, I'm 11, I'm in church. Why are you telling me I ain't shit? I ain't never gonna be shit. And then when I die, I might get into heaven. So when I got to be an adult, I was like, I'm not going because you made me feel guilty every single week. So it's like, I'm little, you ain't shit. Make your first communion. You think the the verbal abuse would stop. No, it gets worse. It's like constantly telling you you ain't shit. That's why I rebelled against the church. I'm like not feeling it. And then you want me to pay you to talk trash to me? I gotta give you my money on top of that. And Catholic churches are not like gospel churches. Like it's just so depressing. Like in black churches, the music is fun. You can actually dance to it. People are smiling. In Catholic churches, everyone looks like they're on their way to walk the plank or going to their own beheading. Everyone looks so sad and miserable. It's stand, sit, kneel, stand, sit, kneel. You ain't shit. You were born fucked up as a baby and you're going to die. That's it. And everything you do is a sin. Then you got to go into the confessional and talk through this wall to a guy, and it's so creepy, and tell him what you did wrong. I'm done. So yes, I have very good reasons why I rebelled against going to church.
I will not soon forget. Houseway, I'm a baby.
True.
I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night tonight and see what Houseway, I'm a baby. You said that with your whole chest, and I was so ill prepared for it.
It makes sense. I'm speaking out for the inner child that was just beat up. As like, why am I so guilty of everything?
No, you're not wrong.
Catholic Church,
see,
you need a
points
rebrand.
were made. Points were made.
Y'all need to rethink your messaging. It's really bad. And then the songs are terrible. Like
Oh
they're
my
so
gosh.
sad. It's like sounds like, you know when you have like soulful like black songs like R&B, and then you like go to like a white school that has like they don't have like a black musical director, and then they try to sing like, you know, get your
Yeah.
swag on or something. It's like so vanilla and whack.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
It's kind of like that girl that's going viral, or since the beginning of the year, for completely plagiarizing TD Jakes'
Oh my God.
sermon.
Horrible.
Oh my gosh. I was like, but she's like, and you gotta get down. And I was like,
God.
what?
So I pray at home.
Yeah. And that's, you know what? I think that God is everywhere and he's in us all.
And he doesn't make babies feel shame.
Yes, I
doesn't
know.
shame.
I hear you. I hear you. I do think going back to the idea of Gen X or Z or X or Z, not drinking. This has been the path for a while. And I think that a lot of young people just saw how much destruction that alcohol abuse was capable of doing. But also, on the other hand, they had options. You know, if you think about it, marijuana has been legal in Colorado since I think 2010, because I moved here in 2009 and I voted on that, and that was the first in the country. So we're going on 15 years that has been a viable option for people, and recreationally a viable option. So the idea that people are doing other things, like they're, you know, using marijuana, they're using mushrooms, like there are all of these, there are all of these things that people have access to. So it's not as though they're not doing anything. They're just saying, well, this is better than that.
And maybe some of it comes, let me take a stab in the dark at this, at being a little vain, because, you know, you gain more calories. There's more calories in alcohol than there is in a mushroom or in weed. Well, you do go eat and have the munchies and go to 7-Eleven and you get like powder donuts and beef jerky at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that is true.
And Arizona iced tea, so I've heard. So I do like that. But I think the pendulum like swings both ways every, you know, decade or so, right? Like for a while, all the music was about just mollies and perks and drinking and lean. And it's just bound to go the other way. Just like everything was so sexually charged in the 2000s. And then now it's kind of going where they say testosterone is down in the country and people aren't really having as much sex as they used to. So I just think that's just natural. It'll go back to Sodom and Gomorrah soon enough. Like it really will. Like it'll go back the other way where it's like back, but it goes. I'm glad that it's on that path, because I think people were just getting just too out of control. And I know young people that are like already battling like liver disease because they've been drinking since they were like 15.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that, you know, one, we have more information, and in a real way. It's more than like, oh, you know, alcohol is bad for your liver. It's like we see, you know, people on digital mediums and, you know, platforms saying this ruined my life. Or also we're seeing here's an alternative to alcohol. And people, are talking about how it gives you, if you're looking for a euphoric effect, you can get those things. So there's so many things that have flooded the market at this point. But I do think that a big part of it was they were looking at the generation ahead of them or generations ahead of them and saying, yeah, actually, I think this is a more savvy way. If I want to step outside of myself for a second, this might be a more savvy way of doing it, or not at all.
So the message is, why do alcohol when I can do crack?
No, that is not the message. That is not the message. Not the message.
Okay. Well, I was just kind of reading between the lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I see you.
Okay.
Rebel rousing.
All right, y'all. This has been another episode of Accidentally Informed.
Oh, because we can't guarantee
Are
that
you
you'll learn
joking?
something. No, I'm not, but you just might.
We'll see you next time. Hey, tell a friend, spread the word, follow us on social media, and subscribe to the channel and run those numbers up.
That's right.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.